Good afternoon, this is Media Center Ukraine Odessa, and we are starting our work today. You can watch us online both on our YouTube channel and down on our Facebook page. If you have any questions, you can ask them online. Just use the messengers that you can now see on your screens. Our current topic is the project called Children Want Peace for children of military personnel. Our speaker is Lilia Hrychulevych, founder and coordinator of the Children Want Peace project, and also the participants of this project, children of the military, and we will know them better, we'll get to know them closer during the briefing. And now I'd like to give floor to Lilia just to tell more about the project that was founded in 2017. Good afternoon. I'm really happy that today, the participants of the project and I could tell more about the project that was founded in 2017. It was founded by volunteers from Ukraine and Georgia, Charitable to be right, and this has a charitable project. It is not supported by any state or other official institutions, and this project allows the civil society to support the military. And now we can see that a lot of civilians, Ukrainians, and not only Ukrainians, support our military in defending Ukraine and in gaining our victory. But as for social projects aimed at supporting the military and children are also important. And now I would like to briefly say before introducing this project is that our last event was several days ago. We returned with children from Sakartvelo, and we had 10 children. They were children whose parents were killed during the war. And I received a message confirming once again that this project is really very important. Mother texted me that her daughter smiled for the first time over 1 year since her dad died, and the whole family was really very thankful for this project because this allows to recover, to feel the real life, and unfortunately this girl will live without her father, but at least this girl is now able to return to real life. So, what is our project about? This is a kind of diplomacy. We, with friends from Ukraine and Sakartvelo, organize a lot of communication activities between Ukrainian and Georgian children, between veteran associations from Ukraine and Sakartvelo. Unfortunately, Georgia has an extensive experience of fighting against Russia's aggression, so they survived 3 wars, and they know, as no one else, what it means to fight this empire. That's why all Georgians, they understand and support Ukraine, as no other people in this world. And it is easier for us to implement the project because we don't need to explain to Georgian what this war is, and they do understand us, and they just feel that our children are heroes because they are children of heroes, and we are proud of our defenders of the children and their families who are also kind of a stimuli to boost the fight against Ukraine. And every project, every program is coordinated with the embassy, and the ambassador or representatives of the embassy from Georgia, they just meet our children just to understand better what happens during 10-day visit of our children to Georgia. And we can say that all Georgians who are involved in implementing this project just have their hearts open for our children. And I think that they understand us better than the whole world in general. And that was quite interesting to learn about the response of Georgians when they just learn that the children of Ukrainian military come to Georgia. We have an established program, and this is not just kind of a rest, this is rehabilitation. And also children can learn more about culture, traditions of our friendly people, like from Georgia. But we always make amendments to our program because every time those Georgians whom we meet are always happy to support us, to invite children, for example, to their homes or in some other form support children, and we can never refuse. And this really allows our children to feel this sincere support of Georgians and that people from other countries do understand them. Does your project cover the whole of Ukraine? Yes. It is like volunteer based. And we just find children for this project through volunteer networks. And today we also have the participants of the project, children of the military, and in the room here we also have some more children. And now I would like to give floor to you just to share your impressions about the visit to Georgia. Perhaps Bohdan would like to start. Yes, just around 10 days. Around several weeks ago, I didn't even know about the trip, and the news was unexpected. And first, I did not want to agree to go, but then I thought over and I agreed, and that was really great because during 10 days I thought about no problems bothered me, like schools or some other things, and I really had a good opportunity to rest. But that was not just a relaxation trip. That's why I learned a lot and understand a lot. For example, such issues as tolerance, like independence, and I also reconsidered some of my values. And you can also tell about how Georgians reacted to you. Kartvel, they are just really very hospitable people. And we just before visited Poland, and there we did not feel that support and understanding is from Kartvels, and they do understand what is Russia and what it can do. We were in Belize in a hotel, and there was some boy who learned that we are from Ukraine, and he presented us a basket of fruits and also a note with thankful. And this is not about fruits that were really very tasty, but this demonstrates that the boy really understands our situation, and he sincerely thanks us for what our relatives do. And you mentioned that this trip allowed you to reconsider some of your values. What do you mean? Can you share more details about this? And first I understood that in Ukraine we have also a lot of interesting places, and of course I know about Odessa, which is my hometown, but I've never visited Kyiv or Lviv or some other cities. And now it is interesting for me to learn more about Ukraine. And also to just expand my mindset and learn more about my country. I also understood the importance of communication. There were 10 children in our group, and sometimes we have some tensions among children, and we had to settle everything somehow. And from a psychological point of view, that was kind of a development for me. And after the trip, I also understood that in some areas where I have some goals for myself, I just I do not develop, like learning English or some physical activities. And I would like to briefly explain and add to what Bohdan has mentioned now. This project also allows children to learn how to communicate with each other and how to find ways out of difficult, uneasy situations. So this is also the necessity to find a common language, which is important for our victory. We have different children. Some of them like see each other for the first time, and it is difficult to establish some good dialogue at once. But during communication, during explanation that only together we can be strong and we can win over our enemy, they learn in their small group to become like a team. And we also have Diana and Danylo Mudrytsky in just our media center. Perhaps you would also like to share your experience. You just need to use the mic. Diana Mudrytsky, the participant of the project. I would like, it is great that we are supported by Georgia, and perhaps if I've never visited Sakartvelo, I would have never learned about that. All of them wanted to present something to us. And the size of such a gift doesn't matter, or the value. But the mere fact that they wanted just to please us somehow was really great, and they just received us as if we were from their country. And that's great that our two peoples just respect each other, and they also very friendly. Have you like noticed some common features between Georgians and Ukrainians? Friendly, ready to support each other, ready to help each other. And when it is needed, they are ready just to support you and to help you. And we say that Ukrainians and Georgians are friendly peoples. We also have Kyrylo and Kira in the panel. Kyrylo, what would you like to add? I can say that the people of Georgia were really very hospitable, and they were always ready to support. There was Geno, who is a kind of a politician, but he was ready to do everything for us, and everyone was really very kind, and I really liked the trip. Danylo had the possibility to meet the head of the veteran service of Algeria, and Danylo really did a lot for Ukraine. He told a lot about our country, and we had interviews and meetings with officials, and Danylo told them a lot about how it is important for children, for Ukrainian, for the society, the respect to our veterans, and also the respect to our country. And our children are very modest, but in like private communication, they are very emotional when they share their impressions, and they just recall different events during their trip. They visited museums a lot, and it seems to me before that children are not very keen on going to museums, visiting museums. But by the end of the trip, some of the children they really shared their excitement about the museums they had visited, and also. We visited a school where children learned the traditional Georgian dances, and there were around 50 children or even more. And when our children entered, there was the round of applause, and the children were met like real heroes. And every time our children were received as heroes. There were workshops for our children. Our children know how to cook in Halia, how to cook hachapuri from Algeria, and they know what is traditional Georgian cuisine is. They also know how to write Georgian letters because the Georgian alphabet is unique, and they also were taught how to write letters. And that's great that our children know how to write at least their names in Georgian, and they are really very successful in this. And I would also like to add that this project has changed since the full-scale invasion. Now it allows our children to understand how the Ukrainian refugees are supported abroad and what they do for Ukraine. We met organization Maidan Baidunia that every day since the 24th of February have been going out to tell the news from Ukraine, regardless of the weather. And every day at 7 p.m., people like participants of the Maidan Batumi are there in the street to tell more about Ukraine. They also raise funds. They also make camouflage nets. And our children were also involved in these activities. And some children have already had experience from before because they learned it in their schools. And now we can see the different approach in making nets. And we also supported Maidan Batunia to just finish some of these camouflage nets. And children were involved in very powerful activity to support prisoners from Azov. And together with the Ukrainians who were forced to move to Batumi, participated in the activities that were aimed at turning attention to the fact that still Ukrainians are prisoners of war. And it is very important because we can see how important the Ukrainians are all over the world, and we just need to unite to be a real big team. You've mentioned that this is not rest, this is more like rehabilitation, but there are also elements of kind of psychological recreation, because in Ukraine we are under constant shelling, but abroad children can just have a break from that. Yes, really, we had 10 days without sounds of air raid alerts, and this helped children to have a rest and just to switch off of all these horrors that we can experience here. And first, different sounds because of different sounds, children got agitated, but then they just relaxed and felt better when they heard something that could resemble air raid alert. But this is not a resort trip. This is rather difficult, even from the physical point of view project. We start with morning exercises, and which is very important because the whole day we should be in good physical condition. Children also learned how to listen to themselves, how to sit just on the seaside and to listen to their inner world. Because the world is really changing now. Everyone, children, adults are always in haste. And we wanted to give possibility to children to understand what is important for them, to stay on their own near the sea. Also, we have the sea in Odessa, but unfortunately we cannot feel safe there now and just relax. And in Georgia it is possible now, and it is really very important to feel comfortable with yourself. I'd like to give floor to Kira just to share your experience. You can tell about tangerines. And did you did you enjoy gathering tangerine? We gathered tangerines in an orchard, and but that was the big one. But we were able to quickly gather everything. And there was a dog there. There are a lot of dogs in Georgia. They are all safe. They're chipped. But I think that our children hugged all Georgian dogs that they met there. And you can also tell about how you paint coats of arm near the leg. It was not like I just wanted to write there, "Glory to Ukraine." And we just had a small trip to a mountain lake, and there was sand, and children just wanted to draw or write something on the sand. Kira just wrote "Glory to Ukraine," and Bohdan they drew the emblem of our country, the coat of arms, and I think that we are going to have the great future because our children are great. And I would like also to give floor to Danylo. Could you share your experience? This trip to Sakartvelo allowed me to understand how we are supported in Sakartvelo. They are very kind there. And when we were in a hotel, a boy learned that we were from Ukraine, and he gave us fruit, and he tried to write something in Ukrainian, and he wrote "Glory to Ukraine," and that meant that he supported us. And what about Georgian cuisine? What do you like from Georgian cuisine? Hinkali, хачапурі? And I also saw that it is tradition to eat with their hands, their traditional dishes. But Ukrainian cuisine is the tastiest. That's right, yes. And I think that for most children it was the first trip abroad. Yes, for most of them, yes. Some of children they've already had had experience of traveling abroad before. But for most of them, that was the first experience, the first trip by plane, because we flew from Poland, and I'm really happy that children, that their parents, they trust us and they allow my friends, volunteers, and myself to show our children friendly Georgia, and perhaps to reconsider what is happening in our country. I have one more question. Since 2017, how many children have participated in your project? I don't remember the exact number, but that we've had more than 200 children. This is not that many, but usually we have groups of 10, 20, 25 children. But our objective is not to cover as many children as possible. Our goal is to be able to focus on every child. And first, we met with them. We just meet them when we go to Sakartvelo, and then we continue our communication after the trip. And those children who first visited Sakartvelo in 2017 are now the students of the military institutions, and so they follow the steps of their fathers. And children, they just get to know each other, they share their impressions, they continue, they support the contact with those Georgians whom they meet in Georgia. So this means that the project is not over when children come back to Ukraine. This means that it will continue for all the participants in the future. Thank you very much for joining Media Center Ukraine Odessa, and we will continue our work at noon. And we will discuss the marathon of radio DJs supporting the armed forces of Ukraine.